Pussycat, welcome to my channel. My name's Emma Cownley, I'm a freelance copywriter and blogger, and my right eye will not stop watering. Today I've got for you another instalment of what I am still only tentatively calling the Red Flag Chronicles. The Red Flag Chronicles exists as a kind of catharsis for freelancers in general, but more specifically freelance writers. It also kind of serves as a cautionary tale for new and existing freelancers about the kinds of situations you may find yourself in and kind of what you can do to mitigate those circumstances when you're in them. And also it's kind of like a confessional or a therapy. People need to get this shit out. They don't have HR teams to go to. They don't have a lot of people around them who understand what it's like to be a freelancer and experience these types of nightmare client situations. So it's just nice to have something where we can commiserate together. As always, I'm going to say, this series is not about bashing clients, it's not about making fun of clients, it's not about running clients through the fucking shredder. You know, sometimes there's just bad matches, sometimes there's bad briefs, sometimes there's misunderstandings, and sometimes people just don't understand what working with a freelancer entails, what it is, what the experience will be like. So really this can almost serve as kind of a guide for clients as well. So I've got a couple of nightmare client stories here, just a couple. This represents the last of the batch that I got given at the end of last year, so I can't remember what these actually say. If you've got any nightmare client stories of your own to share, get in touch with me, find me on social media. I'll link everything for you below so that you can find me and offload, and maybe your story can be in the next Red Flag Chronicle. It could be in the next Chronicle. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, maybe even subscribe to the channel, maybe share the video, leave a comment, whatever you like. Any kind of engagement counts where the YouTube algorithm is concerned. Okay, let's go. I did a trial piece of work, paid, for a potential new client a couple of months ago. During the initial call, he said he hadn't worked with a writer or a freelancer before, which was a red flag. I went ahead anyway. I followed the brief for a blog article and submitted the work. He got back to me a few days later with feedback, and almost none of it was related to the brief. He wanted more details about their products, but the brief was for an industry topic. He had even said in the call that he didn't want the article to just focus on the company's products. He then had the cheek to ask if I'd even read the brief. I wanted to ask him the same thing. Instead, I said thanks and good luck for finding the right writer. Good riddance. This kind of feels like the client completely forgot what they had asked for. Do you know what I mean? To have outlined requirements in a brief and then give feedback completely unrelated. If I was in this person's situation, I would kind of say, well, wait a minute, let's refer back to the document that you gave. These are what you asked for. I feel like I've delivered on these points. If you wanted extra things, ideally that would have been included in the brief, but we can fix it now. Let me know what else you'd like, and I can add that in for an additional fee because this counts as scope creep. And then kind of working to help them understand in future how to articulate what they want through the brief. Now, of course, this is really only going to be worth your time to do this if you're interested in keeping the client on long term. Because although it's nice to give time to educate clients on how the freelance dynamic works and how they can... Sorry, there's fucking tractors all over the place at the moment. It's driving me bonkers. It's not your job to educate them, but it's nice if you can. And if it's worth your while, absolutely do that. I mean, this was a trial piece, and quite rightly, red flags. Red flags coming out the wazoo. It's not dodgy to kind of work with a client who's never worked with a freelancer before, but you need to be the kind of freelancer who is absolutely rock solid in your ability to know your boundaries, to set those boundaries, to create a process, to create a structure, and to inform the client about that, talk them through it, help them understand it, so that you can kind of bring them through the process with you you leading the way and guiding the process. And that's not for everybody. Not everybody has the, the balls, as it were, to take command of that relationship. Too many of us believe that we are the employee of the client and we don't have that power or that autonomy within the relationship. So we're kind of like, oh yeah, whatever you say, yeah, it's fine. And as this person has, they've pointed out they've got no fucking idea. I've never worked with a freelancer before. Okay, then you need someone who's going to guide you then. And it doesn't sound like it was worth the while of this particular person. I don't blame them. I probably would have fucked off out of there as well. I'm not going to lie, that would really irritate me if somebody turned around and said, have you not even read the brief? Don't talk to people like that. Don't do that. Another horror agency asked me to write some product descriptions for some beauty products. Couldn't mention anything to do with the benefits or how they might work, so made some very generic descriptions up. They said they didn't like them. Fine, they were not my best work. Took ages to pay, and lo and behold, when I checked the website before they'd paid, all my descriptions were on there word for word, not edited. God damn, that's annoying. So this person doesn't actually say whether or not they pushed back on the agency. But if I were in this situation, that's certainly what I would do. Not only because I kind of fucking need to know what I'm doing, but also I think, hand on heart full admission, I'd be low-key irritated that I'd been asked to do a job, but told that I couldn't do half of the things I needed to do in order to do that job. So I would say, okay, fair enough. We're not mentioning any benefits. We're not mentioning how this works. How did you envisage these product descriptions taking shape? Because we need to bear in mind that when the customer visits, they want to know about the product before they buy it. They're not going to buy it unless they know about it, how it's going to benefit them, what the value of the product is. We can't expect them to convert if they don't understand why they should, right? So I'd kind of communicate that and be like, well, is there something else we can be doing? And can you let me know why we're not able to mention these benefits? Because perhaps there's a way that I can talk about it that circumvents any problems that we're having, maybe with legal, I don't know. It's like being a waitress and being asked to go and clear the tables in the restaurant, but being told that you're not allowed to touch any of the plates. That's pretty much what this equivalent is. They said they didn't like them. I hate feedback like that. It's not about what you like and what you don't like. It's about what's effective for the actual customer. Nothing makes me angrier than feedback. Not keen on this. Oh, don't like this. That's not helpful. I don't care if you like it. I didn't write it for you. I wrote it for your customer. Your customer isn't you. You're both in different situations and circumstances. I need something more helpful if I'm gonna rectify this and learn from it and be better for you in the future. Don't like this. Oh my God, the rage. The rage. I had one client who was very clear in her own mind about what she wanted, but really rubbish at articulating it. Is this going to be the theme for this video? Clients who aren't 100% able to articulate what they want. As an example, she wanted one page to be stronger, but gentle too. Oh no. Oh no. What does that mean? Okay. She got a friend to rewrite that page in the end. Every line of this that I read gets more and more like a textbook case of a red flag client. I tried to edit the worst bits so it sounded less amateur, but she wasn't interested. Another client had just ghosted me, loved the first blog post I wrote for them, said nothing after the second, and has ignored all my messages since. Just bloody rude. So this is like a twofer. This is a 2 for 1. So the first situation, client who was clear in her own mind about what she wanted but rubbish at articulating it. What I think I would do in that situation is get that client to give me examples that she's found out in the wild of what she's wanting. Like strong but gentle too. Where have you seen this, that you've taken this idea? Because that would be helpful for me to get eyes on that and kind of get the essence of what you're wanting. Who else has a similar tone of voice? Could you give me some examples? Because I think that it's our job to help them find the tools to articulate what they want. because it's going to benefit them in the long run whenever they're dealing with any sort of creative. And I think that the reason that this particular client went to a friend instead is probably because they've got obviously a long-term relationship with that person and are confident that that person gets it. Do you know what I mean? Like, as a completely off-the-wall example, I have a lot of tattoos, right? And when I find a new tattoo artist that I really, really like, I have to try and articulate to them my artistic vision for what I want them to forcibly stab into my skin, right? But I've had a tattoo and commissioned several pieces of artwork with a tattoo artist who is my childhood friend, who I've known since play school, and I told him my idea just verbatim, like, oh, I was thinking of getting something like this. He drew it up instantly, on a wavelength with me, immediately knew what I was talking about because we have that connection. He gets it. We've got such a long history that he's able to interpret what I'm saying in his creative language. So I think probably that's a similar thing here, but less cool, obviously. And probably resisting the edits might be this person has now lost confidence that you get the artistic vision and doesn't want you touching something that they perceive to be in line with what they wanted. They're like, well, you don't get it, and she does, so don't touch it, please. Which, in this circumstance, is probably going to work to her detriment because a professional writer believes it sounds amateur. So I'm guessing it probably does. I think this is another one where if you're interested in working with this person long term and it's worth your while and you really like them, then you can invest the time to help them learn how to interact with the freelancer and articulate themselves better. If you're not interested in continuing that relationship, do what this person has done and cut that loss and just be like, in future, I will probably try to probe and ask a few more questions around this to help them explain to me what they're after. In this second one, the client ghosted. Loved the first blog post, said nothing after the second. I'd be curious. I'd be like, well, have you actually used it verbatim? And I'd go on their website and look for the blog post and see if they'd used it. And I'd also probably low-key be using my SEO software to monitor how well that's doing. Because I'd want to know in myself, well, have they actually used it without changing it? And is it doing well? Because if those two things have been met, then I'd be satisfied in myself that I'd done a good job. But as for the ghosting, I agree, that is fucking rude. And it makes me feel really sad when we, as freelancers, are treated like disposable employees. When you're done with us, you just ghost us and drop us and that's it. I mean, nobody owes us a polite withdrawal, but it's good business etiquette, isn't it? It's good business etiquette. Oh, this one we got a little script. Client phones. I've got a new product. Can you do a description for the website? Me. Yes. Send me a list of the details. I've actually got time next Monday. I'll do it for you then. Client. Can't you just do it now over the phone? Me. Client. Are you still there? Me. I'm in the middle of other clients' work right now, so I can't get to it until Monday. Obviously shocked confusion. Client. Oh, never mind. Hangs up. Luckily, I was working with an agency, so she was their direct contact. Also spent the beginning of the conversation slagging off the photographer involved with her website. I just called the agency straight away and explained everything. I offered to do the description sooner, but that I'd said Monday to impose some boundaries. I was worried that I'd pissed her off and that she'd take it out on them. They're dead nice folk. They said, no, she's being ridiculous about everything. She thinks we're all her servants. Don't worry, we'll talk to her. Turns out she did have actual real life house servants, and the agency cut ties quite quickly after this. Shame, her products were lovely to write about. This is why I don't give my phone number to clients. Because they will expect you to answer the phone. Because sometimes they do feel like you are an employee, but you're not a proper employee who needs to be treated with respect. You're an employee that is disposable. And I guess it is easy to forget that we do have a roster of clients that we're dealing with. And they're like, well, I don't get it. Like, I thought you worked with me. Yeah, you and everyone else, mate. This is a really nice example of an agency protecting their staff. and sticking up for their freelancers though. And I think it's quite important that we should have an example like this, because if you watch the last Red Flag Chronicles video, that didn't look very well for agencies. That was like chock-a-block with agency horror stories. And not all agencies suck. I work with some very lovely agencies. Only 2 of them, but they're amazing and I love them. So this is quite nice, and it seems like they're on this person's side, so that's lovely. A prime example though of an amazing brand and an amazing product that just has the world's most toxic brand leader, which just ruins everything. It's so sad when that happens. And that's your lot for today. Short but sweet one. Sweet? Can we describe it as sweet? Does that work? Don't know if we could really describe this as sweet. A short, bitter, potent shot of reality to start your Friday. As I said, if you've got any freelance horror stories that you'd like to share, come and find me out in the wild. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Twitter, I'm here on YouTube. You can also email me through my website. Every link will be included in the description box below in a beautiful link tree that you can use to find me anywhere on the internet, but hopefully not in a creepy way. And yeah, come back here in 2 weeks for more Kiss My A's. And until then, take care and peace out.